starters, invest in marketing.
Wow.
We've got we've got a company that's marketing our products through social media. We've got a website, we've got Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we are in quite a number of social media platforms. So that also helps, especially when you want to attract the international potential clients.
Welcome, viewers, to yet another session on PowerRush Talk Show, where we dive deep in motivational success stories, inspirational stories of people in different arena and expertise. And we are founded on the Word of God, Proverbs 11:25, where the Bible reads, "Whoever brings blessings will be enriched, and the one who waters will himself be watered." I believe as the experts, professionals, and people in different arenas share their life testimonies on this channel, I believe one's life will be watered, one's life will be motivated and inspired. Today, without wasting much of your time, we are here in the studio joined by the founder of Jandrup Group Private Limited, Mr. Tapiwa Ngwenya. Welcome, Mr. Tapiwa Ngwenya.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Thank you, viewers, for listening.
Thank you so much also for joining us today, affording and committing time just to be with us and the viewers. To just kick off our interview, conversation, discussion today, people might want to know, who is Tapiwa Ngwenya?
Thank you so much. Tapiwa Ngwenya is a young man who was raised in the humble areas in Manicaland. He did his primary and secondary level down in Manicaland, and he wants to share a story between the secondary level and the tertiary level. That at some point, the guy Tapiwa Ngwenya was once a caretaker at a certain non-governmental organization. Soon after his high school level, and also at some point he was a caretaker in the morning and a security guard in the evening to try and raise money for tertiary. But we thank God he managed to finish his tertiary education and attained a degree in quantity surveying. He is now a professional quantity surveyor, and we thank God about that.
Wow, thank you. That's a deep background there, an inspiring background. After getting into different jobs, but God found you, favor located you, and you got into the field of quantity surveying. And today we are seated in this studio talking to you now as a CEO for a group of companies. I understand you do cleaning as well, you do construction. The question I might want to ask and the viewers to know, what inspired you to then become a business owner? I believe, yes, you had that background, but other people might opt going to work. But what inspired you to become an entrepreneur, a business owner, not only for one company, but for several companies?
Thank you so much. I would like to say for starters, I'm the only boy in our family, in a family of four, and I've got siblings who are in the medical field. My parents are also in the medical field. At some point, I went to one of the hospitals here in Zimbabwe, the Masvingo Provincial Hospital, to train as a nurse. But then I later realized that it's not my area, even if I got siblings who are in the health sector, but I realized it's not my area of strength. I got inspired. I remember when I used to look at and also to guard some materials for Buddhas who were working at an organization I said I worked for before. I went to tertiary. I started liking what they were doing. I started liking construction. That made me also to start pursuing a profession that's within the range of construction. And that is why I was narrowed to becoming a quantity surveyor.
Hmm.
And for me to be now to run a business, I I worked for a company at some point. Uh, I liked the challenges I was facing there, and I like solving problems. I like bringing solutions to problems. So this company, it was a big company, and I learned quite a lot from that company. Then, unfortunately, the owner passed on, so the company couldn't run further. So, when it dissolved, I then decided to start my own.
Hmm. Amazing. Amazing story. Amazing background it is. So inspiring. I picked up quite a lot from that narration of your story, and I realized that background is not a deter or a barricade to someone succeeding in life. Someone might have a rough, tough background, upbringing, but it's in the mindset. I like that you were observing as other professionals were doing it in the market or in the field, and you desired to also get into it. And now we are talking to a CEO. What a mighty God we serve. Um, Tell us, Mr. Tapiwa, you spoke about what you do, but we really want to know the services, the products that you provide to us as viewers, in case we might want services from you. What does your company offer in terms of services or products?
Thank you very much. Um, I think on this interview, I'll narrow on Jandrup Group, though we've got Unati Logistics, that the transport, we've got a transport and freight company that transport goods within Zimbabwe. We are still applying for the licenses to now take our goods outside of the country. But at the moment, we are still working within Zimbabwe. That's Imnati Logistics. But on Jandrup Group, it's a group of companies that comprises of, we've got the construction department, we also have got the water delivery department, and we've got the cleaning services. So we've got the Buddhas, we've got the cleaners, and we also have got the trucks that delivers bulk water in different areas in Zimbabwe.
Wow, wow, wow. You seem to have covered pretty much most of the hot areas of business, construction, water delivery, and I like your scope. I like your mindset that you are a problem solver. Wherever there's a problem, you chip in, but you chip in with the business mindset, solving problems in the community, solving problems in the country. I like that. I'm learning that. Continuing with our discussion and interview, I would love to know how you stay informed about the latest trends in your industry. It might be in the construction, it might be in the cleaning, it might be in the water business. For someone to be thriving, to be continuing in business, you ought to be abreast, you ought to be well informed of what's happening. Tell us, what are your um, nuggets on that? How do you stay informed? about the latest trends in the industry.
Thank you. Like what you have said, you when you like to run a certain business, you should always be acquainted with any information that assists the success of that business. Of course, with us or with me personally, I like reading a lot. I always read anything that has to do with construction, especially here in Zimbabwe. We are privileged. We've got CIFOs and we also have got ZBCA. They've got their publications that they give out every beginning of the year. They also have got magazines, so we go through them. Um, we thank God for technology also. Uh, when we are doing interiors, say when after construction we are doing interiors and stuff. Uh, Pinterest also helps us, social media, internet comes in play, and we learn a lot through that. One thing that's quite exciting is I'm one of the well-known companies that are good in installing epochs,
Oh wow, wow,
epoch in Zimbabwe, and I learned uh, epochs installation through YouTube.
wow, 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 wow.
I managed to put together
Amazing.
the equipment, and now I'm one of the big companies that are installing epochs around the capital city of Harare in Zimbabwe.
Wow, 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 wow. That's amazing. I like that you are a researcher, you are a bookworm, you revolve around your community and also your industry, literature around about your industry. I like that. I like that. And I would like to know, me and the viewers, what strategies do you use to attract new customers or retain existing ones? I'm asking this question. Maybe there might be someone out there in business struggling to attract new customers or struggling to retain existing ones. As a CEO of a group of companies, what are your strategies that you can share to the viewers that can also help the viewers here?
Thank you very much. It's quite an interesting one. Firstly, I would like to say, for starters, invest in marketing.
Wow.
We've got, we've got a company that's marketing our products
Mm,
through social media. We've got a website, we've got Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we are in quite a number of social media platforms.
mm,
Um,
mm, mm, mm.
so that also helps, especially when you want to attract the international potential clients.
Mm,
And
mm.
we've been our growth. We have marked our growth possibly on. I think 30% of our projects we are getting them through referrals. We've
Ah,
got
great.
we've got a statement, or we've got a motto in our company that says measure thrice and mark once.
Wow.
So we specialize in accuracy.
Mm,
We specialize in professionalism. We specialize in good quality. So
mm,
once you do a job for a client within the specified time frames and also meeting their expectation or even going beyond their
mm,
expectations, guaranteed that is an investment on its own that
mm.
you can get more business through that one client. 30% of our projects, we bring them through referral.
Wow. You blew my mind there. Measure thrice. You said measure thrice and
Mark
and
one.
what? And mark once. Wow, wow. Accuracy, accuracy. I like your art. I like you treating your clients as an investment to treasure them. It's like a snowball effect that as the snowball rolls and rolls, it becomes bigger and bigger, meaning your client base grows bigger and bigger. and they refer each other to you. That's a very strategic way of bringing back and retaining clients. I would love also to understand. You have spoken about the different departments of groups or group of companies that they are in under Jandrup. How many yes, of head employees does your company have? How many does your company have employees?
Okay. Like I said, narrowing in Jandrup Group, we've got 40 permanent workers at the moment.
Wow.
For some, they work in the cleaning department, and some are also in the water delivery department, but the bigger number is in construction. But at the moment, we've got 37 guys that are on contract.
Wow.
So at some point, we employ as much as, like, if I remember well, for our project down in Vuri there, we had about 162 uh, workers working on site, on one
Wow.
site.
Wow.
But at the moment, we got about 37 more of contract-based workers who are currently working in a project we are doing down in Beatrice.
Wow. Wow. That's a great number. Over 100 employees on one side. It really shows that you are doing well in the business arena. And how do you ensure that all those employees are motivated and engaged? How do you do that?
They say a company is only as good as its people.
Mm,
Some clients can judge you through your workers when they
mm,
look at their when they look at their state of health, when they look at their PPE, and as well the way they do whatever. I mean, when they're executing their jobs, they can actually judge you through that. So we have made our workers our center of focus.
mm,
Um, we make sure that obviously they get their monies in time. That's their
mm-hmm.
salaries.
Yep.
For those who are in contract, we always meet our deadlines.
Mm-hmm.
When you're working with them, we make sure that they have got proper PPE. They're dressed well. That's where they get their pride. And
Mm-hmm.
also, just working for Jandrup Group is a fast growing name around
Mm,
town, and it gives them a sense of pride to
mm,
be part of the family.
mm,
Um, so those are the major things we always try to do almost at every time. So, and also one of the things that I had actually left was we continuously engage them, and even if they've got their problems, we engage them at personal level.
mm,
It's
mm,
going to
mm,
realize, for them to realize their value in the company. So
mm.
yeah. So I've taken that as part of the things that I do to my client, to my employees. No matter how many they are, I make sure that I engage them almost on daily basis. With some and others, I meet them when they've got issues. We talk at personal level.
Wow, I like that one-on-one level where you engage with them, you check their mental health, you check their social status, so that when they are working on the site, they have a sound mind. I like that. I believe also our viewers are benefiting from the strategies, benefiting from how you ensure that people are motivated. Even the one that you said about remuneration. Truly speaking, to be honest, after someone has worked, they require their monies, their salaries, wages to be paid in time. So that as well is a motivating factor to those who are in business. Here it is, the strategies that ensure that people uh, who work under us are motivated. If I can just rewind a little bit, you spoke about different projects happening in different places and location. So at the end of maybe your period, I don't know how you measure your period. Um, it might be 6 months, biannual, or yearly. How do you evaluate the performance of your team? How do you evaluate the performance of your team?
Thank you very much. So we do quarterly evaluations and yearly appraisals.
Ah,
So
great.
we'll be focusing on the quality of work. We'll also be
Mm,
focusing on the quantity of work and also
mm.
the job knowledge. So those
Wow.
are the three main things that we look at. Of course, there are other things like the ability to solve problems and also your communication skills. But mainly, when it comes to production, we look at the quality, the quantity, and the job skills. So on
Wow.
the quality of work, we'll be looking at accuracy and also
Yep.
we'll be looking at thoroughness. When a builder is building up a wall, we want to make sure that we tick all the boxes, that's the levels, we tick all the
Yep.
lines, we make
Yep.
sure that the plumb bulb is on the center all the time. So that's
Wow.
accuracy. Then when it comes to quantity, we also look at, we've got average numbers of bricks that we expect a professional builder
Yep.
to, to install. So we also look at the speed, the aspect of speed, because time
Mm.
is also a requisite in our projects. Um,
Wow. I like
yeah,
that.
and on the job skills, we look on the flexibility of an employee.
Mm.
That is some employees are builders. They can also plaster. They can also scheme.
Mm.
Scheme rendering walls. So
Yep.
we'll be looking at that. So that will also, if the boxes are ticked on quarterly, we can
Yep.
also give them appraisals and also end of year,
Yep.
we always give incentives and also medals to the best worker of the year, and we also
Wow.
give things and stuff. Yes, those are things that we to at least motivate our, to at least carrying out the
Evaluate.
evaluation or yeah, the performance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm really benefiting a lot from this discussion on how best to treat the employees by rewarding them with accolades and also making sure that you balance the quality, the skill, looking into different aspects. That's important in a company because sometimes people they uh, take a back bench in the name of I'm just doing work. But I like the skill that you deploy to make sure that you evaluate the performance of everything done by your team. In business, I understand other people get into liabilities. I would want to ask, as a business entrepreneur, a business owner, what strategies do you use to manage risk or to protect your business from potential liabilities? What strategies do you use to manage risk and protect your business from potential liabilities?
Thank you very much. Being a quantity surveyor is a great advantage in the construction industry
Yep.
because risk management is an important aspect of my career.
Mm,
We carry out what we call, given a project,
mm,
we carry out what we call feasibility studies. In feasibility studies, that's when we are seeing the possibility of us executing that project, probably
mm.
within given conditions. It might be monetary, it might be conditions of the place, it might be the risks that we're likely to face. Probably if the meteorological center is telling us there's rain coming, that's for an example. Probably we do all those feasibility studies to see. if it's feasible for us to execute a certain project at a given time.
Wow.
So that aspect, we make sure that that's done thoroughly and it's done perfectly. Then it comes also the most fearsome problem or risk that any business person in the construction industry faces is probably the issue of loss.
Mm, mm, mm,
Um, with the profession I carry and the profession I have as a quantity surveyor, that's my duty now to price any business or any project I get. So
mhm,
I do all the pricing. Of course, I've got junior quantity surveyors, but I also cross check many times. Like I said before, we measure thrice and cut once. So when the junior quantity survey is done with the bill, I take it and I go through all the quantities, I go through all the pricing and make sure that it follows our price model. Then when we issue it to the client, we are issuing with confidence, knowing
mm.
very well that we are going to do this project with this stipulated budget to completion without us coming back again and saying we need more. Um, which is one thing also that has given me a mileage in my
Mm,
industry. As
mm.
most of the clients knows that when we give them a bills of quantity or a
Yep,
quotation
yep.
in a layman language, when you give them a quotation, they know that their product is going to be delivered within stipulated time frames and as well within that budget without us asking for more. We also look
Amazing.
at of professionalism
Yep.
with our strong HR team. We make
Mm,
sure that we engage and employ people who are well versed in skills and
mm,
people who knows what they are doing in our industry.
mm.
People who've got tangible skills and people who are willing to work within any condition. So that alone cuts away the chances of us falling into avoidable uh, risks in our industry.
Wow. Wow. You were really so diving deep on that one. I'm benefiting. I believe viewers are also benefiting on how best we can manage the risk. And I like the advantage that you have that you're a professional quantity surveyor before everything is done, or even if your juniors have done it, but you cross check. That's a good quality in the business industry. Yes, I believe you spoke about accuracy. You spoke about really being so checking step by step and really being so precise in all your ways. But in case maybe it's the weather that has affected the time frame of you finishing a project, or it's something unforeseen that happens as you're doing a project, how do you handle customer complaints and disputes? I have come to a point where business owners sometimes they switch off their phones, they disappear from the arena. A client is trying to reach them to ask why they've delayed or why such a thing has happened in such a way, and other people might be rude, they might be shouting, they might lash at the client, but we want to hear from you. Over the years that you have been in the business, how were you handling customer complaints and disputes?
Thank you very much. I will be untruthful if I say I've never had any client who complained about probably some works we've done at their houses. These complaints, they come in different ways, so it's a big subject. But I'll try to tackle it this way. There are some. Firstly, what should happen? The probably I would want to say what I do most of the time, I make sure that I go through the whole process with the clients. I've got the type of a build that I do is we call it an open build.
Mhm.
So it's an open view where I give a clear, simple descriptions of the scope of work we are going to do at a certain project. And I also give a clear list of the materials that we require for a certain project. For the client, for the whole project and everything to be transparent to our clients.
Mm.
Hence, when we are doing a project, the clients will be equally involved. We usually engage our client or a representative from our client, so that each stage we do I mean it's a stage that is well known by the client and also or by the representative. So that's one thing that's one model I have developed after having some issues with clients. Because transparency, I've seen transparency is one of the things that clients require. Two,
Mm.
like you've said, mentioned the issue of accuracy and the issue of time.
Mm. Mm.
If
Mm.
ever you've got a challenge, communication
Mm.
is the best way to do. Just
Mm.
like in any relationship, if you get into a contract with a client, you have built a certain relationship. Hence,
Mm.
communication is the center of that relationship. We make sure
Mm.
that we engage the client in anything. If you've got any challenge, we make sure that
Mm.
we communicate with the clients. So good communication is one thing I've also learned that it can be a very essential and a very effective way of dealing with complaints from clients.
Amazing, amazing communication, transparency. Pretty much you've brought all the targets down, and I believe many are benefiting from uh, the profound um, rich statements or nuggets that you are sharing today. We have come to the last segment of our session today, but share with us. Um, we might have people in Africa, Zimbabwe, who would want to have work done by Jandrup, or we might have people in diaspora who have been struggling to find construction companies to do with their um, projects. Tell us how best can we reach you? How best can it be done? Maybe I'm in diaspora and I want to build my house back in Africa, Zimbabwe. How best can I do it? How can I contact you? And what assurance is there? What form of communication can be opened? Uh, Tell us about how you can help such a client so far away.
Thank you very much. I'll start with those clients who are in diaspora.
Yeah,
For those that have not been in Zimbabwe, in this country for a long time,
yeah,
uh, Zimbabwe is turned. I mean, everyone in our industry,
yeah,
all the employees who lost their jobs,
yeah.
they now they are now doing their own things.
Mm, mm, mm,
Everyone is now an entrepreneur in
mm,
Zimbabwe.
mm,
Everyone who has even the slightest idea of anything,
mm,
they are masquerading themselves or they are moving around saying they are experts in a certain area.
mm,
So that's a red flag,
mm,
probably, which also makes it difficult for people in the diaspora to find the person or an individual who can do work for them well.
mm,
But I would advise that it is safer to work with registered companies, at
mhm,
least because when you register a company in Zimbabwe, there are some details that you definitely have to give to the Ministry of Registry.
Mm-hmm.
of companies,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you register your, you leave your details, and also they request you to have at least a bank account, of which
Mm-hmm.
with our bank we also give our details like our pictures, we also give our ID numbers, we give our addresses. It can be
Mm.
easier for you now to take in case of any problem.
Mm.
But if you find a person on Facebook and you give them trust, you trust them with your funding, you trust them with your money, you trust them with your property,
Mm.
uh, there are chances that that person might dupe you.
Mm.
Uh, I would advise that it's a better risk to try and focus on companies that are established.
Mm.
Zimbabwe, because of business shortage, there is always possible chances of negotiating if ever you fear in terms of prices and anything else. But you see that at the end of the day, it's better for something to be slightly more expensive but also
Mm.
safe for you. So that's what
Mm.
that's the message I can send into to all the clients, all the potential clients in the diaspora. It's
Mm.
always good to work with someone who is established, someone who is registered.
Mm. Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Coming to Jandrup Group, we've got our social media platforms that are run by ITRO Digital. They manage our social media platforms. We've got Facebook, we've
Yeah.
got our website that is working very well. We also have got our Instagram, so they can get our contacts there, and also they are also able to see what we have done. And
Mm. Amazing.
on request on that number that is flighted on the screen,
Yeah.
uh, it is on WhatsApp. If ever you'd want anything done at the house and you'd want images to at least see what you can do, we can communicate using that number. That number works all time, every day.
Awesome. Awesome. Pretty much you have shared to us your trust. You have given trust uh, to the viewers. You have shared the background of what's happening in the industry or in the business arena. And pretty much many people are just waking up as entrepreneurs, but it's very important to observe and to engage registered companies. Amazing. As I have said to the viewers, we have come to the last segment of our session. But before we exit the studio, we would love to ask you. I believe you have shared quite a vast of your experience, vast of your knowledge. But as we exit, I would kindly ask you, Mr. Tapiwa Ngwenya, what is your advice to an aspiring business owner out there listening, watching? You might be having someone who's struggling financially, but having an idea, or someone who's just there, doesn't know what to do. What is your advice based on your background, based on your experience? Over to you, Mr. Tapiwa. Yeah.
Uh, Thank you so much. Firstly, I would like to say, yeah, background is just the starting point. It's not the ending.
Mm.
Your background is just uh, where you are starting from, and we expect you to grow, just like anything else. Even a plant, you seed, and with other plants, you actually dig for almost 500 millimeters into the ground, but it
Mm.
sprouts and grows
Mm.
towards the sky. So we expect that each and every one of us has a potential to grow, and
Mm.
we don't grow horizontally; we grow vertical.
Mm.
So
Mm. Mm. Mm.
uh, your background just the beginning, and we are going up and towards the sky. So
Mm.
believe in yourself, especially in Zimbabwe. For those that are in Zimbabwe, just believe in yourself. Your best skill, I mean, your first capital is your skill.
Mm. Mm.
What? Yeah, your skill is your capital. Because I would like to say, when I started, I didn't have much of a capital. But what I wanted was I had a bigger vision. So I began by registering a company. For those that are out there who are willing to run their own organizations, it's best for you to register your company perfectly. And we've got an advantage here in Africa, specifically in Zimbabwe. When you want to register a company, it only costs about $100 to register a company. So you can register your own company easily. You start there before you start getting referrals. Just like what I said, that I got 30%. I get 30% of my business through referrals. You can start with tenders. You can start with small tenders going up. From that, you are guaranteed that you make it in this economy.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tapiwa
Maybe
Ngwenya. Yes, go ahead.
sorry, I was saying to add on that, I am a Christian by background, so I am biased to the Christianity beliefs. I believe there is God above, and He's willing to bless the works of our hands. As long as you give Him, as long as you display and tabulate what you want God to do for you, is there to help you. Because in the Bible, in the book of Jeremiah 29, verse 11, it says, He's got good plans for you, those to make you prosper. If you can underline prosper and not to harm you. So we don't believe there is failure. His answer is yes and amen. So anything that you have, anything that you want from Him, there's big for Him. There's nothing there's nothing that is impossible before God. You just lay out what you want, and you also exercise righteousness. Because in the book of Matthew 6:33 it says, "Seek ye first for the kingdom of God and in His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." You see that you show you some of the things that you have never seen before. I never thought that in a space of 2 years, when I started my business, I had at least 12 employees in a space of 2 years. In this economy, my first 2 years, I had 12 permanent employees. I never expected to have such a quick growth, but just because He knew what I wanted, He knew He knew best for me, not what I expect from Him.
Wow, wow, wow. At
So
some
that's the
moment,
message I can say.
I thought we were now in a church
Aspire to
service
be business.
as you were sharing. Thank you so much for sharing powerfully. We have come to the end of our session. And as I said, as I started Proverbs 11, verse
Thank you.
25, whoever brings blessings will be enriched, and he who waters will himself be watered. You have brought blessings to us on this station, on this talk show today. I believe as you were watering another person's life, God was watering your life. May God richly bless you for